Why you think everyone's watching you, but they're not. Imagine this. You're walking down the street feeling like a low-key ninja trying to avoid eye contact with anyone because, let's be honest, you just realized you have spinach stuck in your teeth from lunch. You glance sideways. Someone's looking. They smirk. Panic mode activated. Your brain screams, "They noticed! They know! They're judging! I'm a walking horror show!" Sound familiar? Congratulations, you're the star of a one-person drama called The Spotlight Effect, the psychological trick where you think everyone's eyes are glued to your every awkward move. But spoiler alert, they really aren't. The spotlight effect is the reason you rehearse a casual hey in front of the mirror for 15 minutes, only to trip over your own shoelaces when the moment comes. It's why you cringe for days over a single typo in a group text, convinced you've forever shattered your reputation as that cool friend who has it all together. Spoiler, no one called you that. Let's face it, your brain loves to turn up the drama. It's basically your personal reality show producer, casting you as the star, villain, and comic relief all in one. It rewinds your every social blunder in HD, plays it on loop with a soundtrack of gasps and snickers, and zooms in on every pore and awkward eyebrow twitch. Here's the catch. While you're sweating bullets about that moment when you waved back at someone who was actually waving at the person behind you, everyone else is having their own internal freakout about stuff like, did I just spill coffee on my shirt? Did I forget to mute myself on this Zoom call? Why is my boss emailing me at 10 p.m. on a Saturday? They're not watching you. They're too busy starring in their own sitcom, complete with bloopers, plot twists, and way too many snack breaks. This isn't just a wild theory. Psychologists have actually studied this. They discovered people routinely overestimate how much others notice their quirks and mistakes. Like, if you think 100 people saw your wardrobe malfunction, in reality, maybe 3 saw it, and of those 2 were too polite to mention it. Your brain is the ultimate drama queen, and it loves to amplify your social fears like they're the season finale of a reality TV show. But the truth is, everyone's got their own script, and your oops moment is just a tiny subplot in their story. So buckle up. We're diving deep into the spotlight effect, the sneaky brain glitch that convinces you you're the center of the universe when you're really just a blip in the background noise. And along the way, I'll show you how to break free from this psychological soap opera with humor, science, and maybe a little bit of self-love, or at least some good cringe-worthy stories. Ready? Let's get into the brain's biggest prank. What is the spotlight effect?
In place, okay? So really, you say, oh God.
So, what exactly is the spotlight effect? Imagine your brain as a movie director, but a really bad one who insists on zooming in on every tiny embarrassing detail of your life and broadcasting it on a giant screen, without a pause button. Scientifically speaking, the spotlight effect is a cognitive bias that tricks you into thinking everyone notices your awkward moments way more than they actually do. It's like your brain's built-in social anxiety amplifier, blasting your mistakes to stadium-sized audiences, even though, in reality, the crowd is half empty and mostly distracted. Here's a classic study. Participants were made to wear a ridiculously ugly t-shirt, think neon colors clashing with an offensive slogan. Yes, it was that bad. They were asked how many people noticed. Their answer? Around 50%. Reality check? Only about 20% actually did, and only a handful really cared. The rest were probably wondering what to eat for lunch. So your brain's version of the truth. I just gave a TED Talk on how to be a walking disaster. Actual truth. Maybe 2 people glanced and then went back to scrolling their phones. Now let's jump into the spotlight effect's greatest hits in real life. Get ready for some relatable fails that'll make you laugh, cringe, and maybe feel a little less alone. 1. The gym fumble. You're at the gym feeling like a total warrior when suddenly you drop a dumbbell. Loud, echoes through the entire room. You're sure every single person is staring, whispering, and silently judging your lack of coordination. But guess what? No one noticed. Actually, half the people were too busy doing dramatic, rocky workout selfies. The other half are just trying not to die on the treadmill. Your weak Chad moment? It's not even on the highlight reel. 2. The Zoom call nightmare. Picture this. You're on a work Zoom call, trying to look professional while secretly munching on a bagel. Suddenly, you unmute yourself at the exact moment you bite down and make a weird squawking noise, like a dying duck. Your brain? They're putting me on the do not hire list forever. Reality? Half the team didn't even hear it. The other half just assumed it was Brenda's cat again. Brenda has a noisy cat, okay? 4. The bathroom blunder. You confidently walk into the bathroom, only to realize it's the wrong one. Cue instant regret, desire to disappear, and planning your move to a different city. But seriously, nobody saw. And if they did, they were way too busy trying to remember their own bladder schedules to care about your minor mistake. See the pattern? Your brain is playing a massive prank on you. It turns every little social slip into a full-blown production, when in reality, most people are too wrapped up in their own lives to notice much of anything. Why your brain makes you think everyone's watching. Let's crack open that beautiful overthinking machine of yours, your brain. Not like an alien dissection, more like an archaeologist digging through fossilized drama, outdated fears, and at least 5 emotional browser tabs left open. Here's the tea. Your brain? It's dramatic. Like, win an Oscar for best overreaction, dramatic. It loves to turn every tiny awkward moment into a full-on social apocalypse. Drop your fork at a restaurant? Suddenly you're starring in Embarrassment, the musical, complete with spotlight and sad trombone. Why? Because of something called egocentrism. Not the I'm too sexy for my shirt kind, more the psychological default where your brain focuses so hard on your own experience that it assumes everyone else is doing the same. You're stuck in your own mental selfie mode. Now imagine this, a room full of people, each one glowing in their own invisible spotlight. Everyone thinks they're the main character, and they are, which means they don't really have time to care about the mustard stain on your shirt. So why does our brain act like this spotlight stuff matters so much? Simple. Evolution. Back in prehistoric times, being liked by your tribe meant survival. If they thought you were weird or unfit, you'd get left behind, or worse, fed to a saber-toothed tiger. So your brain evolved to take social judgment way too seriously. Flash forward to now. You trip in front of your crush or accidentally say "love you" to your boss on a phone call. Your brain? Welp, we've been exiled. Time to live in the woods. Reality? A 3-second giggle and everyone moves on with their lives. Want to know what makes it even funnier? Your brain doesn't stop at someone might have seen you. It builds a full-on cinematic universe. Suddenly there's a slow-mo replay, emotional soundtrack, and a sarcastic narrator. Ah yes, Steve strikes again, clumsy as ever. This is the spotlight effect, your brain's habit of assuming everyone notices and remembers your slip-ups. But here's the twist, they don't. They're too busy starring in their own mental blooper reel. And don't forget the illusion of transparency, the feeling that your emotions are super obvious. Like you think everyone can tell you're nervous just by glancing at your face. They can't. They're probably too busy panicking about whether their fly is down. Bottom line, you're not being watched as much as you think, and even if you are, they'll forget before lunch. Here's the twist that your brain doesn't want you to know. You're not actually the star of anyone else's show. You're not even a regular character. At best, you're an occasional guest star who shows up, says something awkward, and then disappears before the next commercial break. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is too busy starring in their own mental soap opera to care about your embarrassing coffee spill or the weird thing you said in a meeting that keeps you up at night. Their internal monologue? It's not going, "Did you see what Sarah did?" It's more like, "Did I leave the stove on? Do I smell weird? Am I dying or just dehydrated?" This is where the illusion of transparency comes into play. It's the idea that people can see right through you, that your nervousness, embarrassment, or social panic is on display like a flashing neon sign. Spoiler, it's not. No one's looking. They're busy wondering if you noticed their awkward moment. You're basically convinced you're on a jumbotron broadcasting every little twitch, when in reality, everyone else is watching their own highlight reel of internal cringe. So the next time your brain tries to tell you they're all watching you, respond with, "They're not even watching this channel, sweetie." And even if someone does notice your awkward moment, they'll likely forget it faster than you forget why you walked into a room. People aren't keeping a social blooper reel on you. They're too busy editing their own. Bottom line, everyone's too wrapped up in their own weirdness to care about yours. You're not under a spotlight. You're sharing a stage with 8 billion other overthinkers, each convinced they're the only one being watched. So let that be your freedom pass. Wear the weird hat. Make the corny joke. Be awkward. Be human. They're not judging you. They're trying not to trip over their own shoelaces. So yeah, you waved at someone who wasn't waving at you. You said you too to the waiter who told you to enjoy your meal, and now you're planning to move to a new country. But here's the truth. The spotlight effect is a liar, a loud, dramatic, Oscar-chasing liar. No one's watching you like you think. They're too busy spiraling in their own awkward soap operas. You're not the main character in their story. You're a legendary guest star, a plot twist, a blooper reel cameo. And honestly, that's iconic. So if this made you laugh, nod, or feel slightly less weird about being weird, hit that subscribe button like it just made awkward eye contact with you. More psychology, more comedy, less brain drama. See you in the next episode.